What is up, everybody? This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. In this video I'm going to talk about an X Plus figure. It is the X Plus Godzilla 1954 train biter, and it's a pretty cool figure, and it's really nicely done. Very stylized figure in my view, but it's very awesome as well. And I will start off with the box on this figure. I try to do the boxes if I can, but I have literally every X Plus box I've ever bought, and they are really stacked, and if I can't really reach the box and see it, I don't pull them back. But if I have a new release I get, I'll do boxes. But usually at this point, unless it's readily available and easy in the room right beside this room, they're stacked, and it's just very hard to find them sometimes. But on any new releases, I will try to always view up the box. And let's bring the box forth right away. And here it is, the box for the 30 centimeter Godzilla 1954 train biting version. I'm guessing that's what it says here. It has VER. So I'm guessing it says train biting version. I'm not sure. I can't read the Japanese. But of course the Godzilla in Japanese, 30 centimeter. The sticker here, the PX Previews exclusive. It was the reissue. X Plus Garage toy up in the corner. I like the silhouette on there. It's pretty cool how they did it. Silhouette picture. It's a pretty nice box overall. I do like how X Plus designs. I mean, it's pretty cool. They put silhouette there of the actual figure on the box. I know some of the recent 25 centimeter boxes, most of them are that window box with no pictures of the monster or nothing. But recently Orga and the 25 centimeter Godzilla 2000 had really cool boxes, so maybe they'll start doing that to all the 25 centimeter. But then I got the Varan, and it was in the old classic window, plastic window 25 centimeter box. So, but this one's really cool. I like how they dressed it up. All right, we'll move on to the actual figure, and let's do that right now. Alright, everybody, here he is, the X Plus 30 centimeter Godzilla 1954 train biter. I don't know if it's a monochrome version or not, but he is definitely in black and white setting and tone, which is cool because that is what he was in the film, black and white, so it's pretty cool. The figure is pretty cool. The movie, of course, we don't have no Godzilla movie without this movie being the basis of all of it. And of course Godzilla is the symbol of what happens when you mess around with nuclear energy and haphazardly use nuclear weapons in foolish and selfish and crazy manners. And he is the result of nuclear radiation and devastation, and he rises out of the ocean to wreak havoc on the world. And it is a very good movie. The Japanese version, original Japanese version, is very somber and very sad and points of it. And it's a very good movie. And we have nothing if we don't have this guy. And to me, this was taken from the promo pics of the film. There's a promo pic if you Google Godzilla 1954 biting train. You will see a promo pic that's very similar. He's holding the train, it's in his mouth. I think that's where they based this sculpt off of, was that promo pic, at least in my opinion. Because in the movie he does put a train car in his mouth, but he doesn't really show him holding it like this. But it's pretty cool figure. As far as this figure goes, it's extremely stylized figure. you will see as I go through this figure that they took severe liberties with it, but that's not a bad thing in my opinion. It's a good thing with this figure because I affectionately call this figure the GMK 54 because he has the solid light gray eyes, silverish grayish eyes, no pupil, and I mean, even his face looks like GMK to me, in my opinion. So I affectionately call this the GMK 54 train biter because to me it really favors GMK in more than one aspect. As far as the figure goes, the tail goes down, touches, then comes up and curves off to his left slightly, and the tail goes way up into the air too. His footprint isn't terrible though. His footprint, because of the tail going down and up, it ain't real bad as far as for shelf space, and it goes straight back, but it does go down and curve back up, which limits the length of the figure on the shelf. But the tail is nicely done. The little dorsal plates and stuff on the tail are light grayish in color. Of course, the tree bark skin on the tail is a traditional charcoal gray, but all the sculpting on this figure on the tail, the sculpting of the tree bark skin is really good, really nicely done. Tree bark skin on the legs, really nicely done, nicely sculpted definition and details there, nice texturing, nice level of detail on the figure. Both legs are nicely done. The midsections really nicely done. The upper chest, very cool, very nice. As far as his dorsal plates, they are not really, to me, at all accurate to the 1954 suit in comparison to the other X Plus 54s, the Sakai and the original 30 centimeter, and even the gigantic. These dorsal plates are really not even remotely accurate to the sizing of that were on the suit, or even the shape. Even the shape, they're not really super duper accurate, but that's okay. I realize they took liberties with this, and I'm fine with it because it's really uniquely done on its own accord. But the dorsal plates are light gray on the outer, very light grayish tone, and then the dark charcoal grayish black on the inside with the bumpy texturing on the plates. Pretty cool. And they are really unique though, like I said, because his dorsal plates on the 54, they came way out more from his back. The bigger middle row, they come way out more than they do on this figure. And then his legs and thighs are really thick and chunky looking. I mean, he's a really big, chunky looking Godzilla down here in the legs, hips, and thigh areas. And sculpting of the tree bark skin in those areas, like I said, is very nicely done, nice details. But he wasn't quite that thick and chunky in that area, and that's also another. To me, harkens to the GMK suit because he was big and thick and chunky from the waist down, basically. And this more looks like GMK's proportions than the original 54, but that's quite all right. It's pretty cool nonetheless. But it's nicely done, nice details, like I said. And the feet are not accurate to the 54 suit. He has 4 toes and they all go straight out. And if you notice on the Sakai 54, this original 30 centimeter 1954, and on the gigantic 54, he has 3 toes going out to the front and then the side toe sticking out the side of his inner foot on either foot. So this is not suit accurate with the feet there, but that's okay, like I said, because it's a really cool and uniquely designed rendition of the 54. And like I said, I believe it takes designs from the promotional pick out there. And his toenails are really pretty long and nicely detailed. They have at the base of the nails there's some texturing and stuff, like scrapes in the nails, and it's black in those. The outer of the nails is a lighter gray, and his fingernails are nice and long and pointy. Same deal, lighter gray. Up here on his arms, nice tree bark skin definition and texturing and detailing there on both arms. And of course over here in his left hand he is holding one of the train cars, and it's nicely crushed in his he's got it tightly gripped and he's crushing it in his hand, and you can see nice details of it, of him crushing it on his hand. And then the middle car is just hanging in limbo, of course. And then the car up here in his mouth, of course, is tightly clenched and crushed. You can see crushing on either side of his mouth where he's crushing it. And then, of course, Godzilla's head here is nicely sculpted. Of course, like I said, to me, he looks really favors the GMK as far as the face and everything. And his mouth is clenched, of course, down on the train car. He's got some a wider face to me than the 54 does, and a wider jaw even in some respects, I would say. It's more squared, and it just reminds me of GMK so much, it's crazy. But it's nice sculpting nonetheless. Nice skin sculpting on his face and everything. Nice nose definition. His eyes are, like I said, straight up silver eye, silver light grayish eye, no pupil, which is really reminds me of the GMK Godzilla. His teeth are nicely sculpted. You can only see his front teeth in his mouth because his jaws are clamped on the car, but they are individually sculpted, nicely done. They are white and really cool, really neat. But this is a totally stylized figure. To me, it holds very little traits from the actual 54 suit that they use in the movie. But if you look at that promo pic on Google with him with the his train in his mouth, it is I think this really takes from that promo pic as far as the design of this figure and the everything. But it is a nicely done figure, and nonetheless, and I'm glad I did manage to get it. This is, of course, that reissue, and I think I got it from either Flossie's or Awesome Collector. I can't remember which one, because I was buying figures from both of them when I was in heavy buying mode 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I was buying figures, all the reissues that they had in stock. I was getting every one that I could that I didn't have, so I was readily buying from both of those. So if you ever need looking for some figures, check out Flossie's Gifts or awesomecollector.com, and they should have some X Plus figures. I'm pretty sure all the reissues are dwindling down, and there ain't a whole lot left as far as all the reissues. And I'm hoping that we get reissues again for everyone that's missed Japanese releases over the last few years. It would be nice to see reissues of all these recent releases. But Flossie's Gifts or Awesome Collector, I would highly recommend as two places to buy figures from. Also, Vampire Robots is another site that sells X Plus here in the States. This is a really cool figure. I'm glad I acquired it. And he's kind of a shorter end of the 30 centimeter figures. And you'll see in my size comparisons. And we'll go on to some size comparisons right away. Alright everybody, here is my Star Ace X Plus Kong 2017 with my X Plus Godzilla Train Biter 30 centimeter. This is the standard version of the Kong, and I also have the deluxe version. I double dipped on this Kong. But next year we're getting this rematch. Can't wait to see that go down. Be really cool. Alright, we'll do some more a final size comparison right now, and of course it'll be 2 more versions of the 54 from X Plus, and let's bring those forward right now. All right, everybody, here we are, all 3 of my 30 centimeter X Plus Godzilla 1954s. We have the Sakai X Plus 30 centimeter 1954. Probably the smallest Sakai, if I'm not mistaken. He's the smallest in height-wise Sakai in the line. And then the original release 30 centimeter Godzilla 1954. He's one of the taller ones, I would say, for sure. So he's not a real shorty, but he is shorter, you know, than a few of the 30 centimeter figures. But as you can see in these, as I slowly turn this, look at this dorsal plates on the train biter and look at the dorsal plates on the other 2. Dramatically different sizing and shape of those dorsal plates. So, like I said, tremendous liberties were taken on this train biter figure, and I'm okay with it because it still looks really like badass, pardon my French. So, all right, I'll move on to some final thoughts on this guy, and let's do that right away. All right, everybody, I'm back. Final thoughts and impressions of this figure. I was really glad I got it, and then I was when I seen it up hand and in close, and first got the tail on and examined it. I'm like, this is a very stylized figure. Initial thoughts, but it's stylized in a very good way, and I would highly recommend this figure to anyone that likes Godzilla and respects the 1954, the original Goji. He's very nicely done. Of course, stylization runs throughout him, but like I said, I really do feel it pulls from that promotional pic of the 54 with him biting the train. It's just exactly like this. He's holding the train, and I think that's where this figure pulls from. But it still has liberties even from that poster promotional pic version. But it's really cool and nicely done, and I do recommend, if you like the 54 Godzilla and respect the heritage and the lineage, to get this one. I have every X Plus that they've put out of the 54, and I have a custom of a 54 coming. It's the pays tribute to the death scene, and it's a gigantic sized. It's a custom being made by Mark Sang-Yang. It's a tribute to the death scene in 54 when they get him with the oxygen destroyer, so it's kind of a tribute to that. And I can't wait. That'll come down the line, so I can't wait to see that thing. But I do recommend this figure. It's really, really cool, and how they really got him stylized up. It's pretty neat. All right, I will bring the camera closer here momentarily, but coming up on my channel, I'm going to do, I just got the Criterion Showa era Godzilla film collection that was recently released. I'm going to do a video on it pretty quickly, and probably I had a local guy that watches my channel, and he works at my local movie theater. He wants me to do a video on Titanosaurus. He's a Titanosaurus fan, so I will probably do that here before too long as well. And I always am thinking of things to do and videos to do, and trying to keep my channel active for everybody that supports it. And I appreciate everyone's time and support as always. And if you have any comments, leave them below. If you like the video, like it. And I will bring the camera forth now, close up of this figure. And this is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. And me and the train biter say to you, have a very nice day.